right, so I guess we're doing the pre-show thing. So let me fire up just a little bit more light here. I don't know if that's so much better. Hang on a sec. Me move a few things here. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, got a bit more light on the subject, and we'll be doing the 5-minute pre-show precursor, I guess, before I fire things up on Facebook. Facebook is currently logged in, I guess, ready to go, and we'll move out smartly from there on in. You guys can see I'm rocking the Salty Shellback t-shirt here, so my buddy Salty Shellback basically kicked that out to me. Good fellow, definitely be sure to check him out on YouTube. Does come up with some interesting content, and he's also a fellow veteran, so good egg on that regard. Now, it also is kind of one of those funny things. They say, well, shellback, what's a shellback? Well, a shellback is a guy in the Navy who's crossed over the equator. They've gone south, obviously they've gone north and what have you. So he's obviously crossed over the equator. Now, when you cross over the equator, it's kind of a big deal in the U.S. Navy. They have this celebration about it. You know, you come out, you have to do some kind of goofy things that basically, I guess, you know, kind of give them their various ins and outs on it. I don't know what my computer is doing here. It's not signed in. Give me a second here. I gotta get that booger to get online. I'm gonna reboot the router. It's being weird. I also do have a secondary backup. If it doesn't want to actually go online on my my normal setup, I simply just go and I'll use my portable hub, and that way I'll be online and doing the internet type stuff. But hopefully my router gets itself unscrewed. I do actually have some yummies, and these are the really unusually hard to find, but these are the Pepperidge Farm Linzer cookies. These guys, if you try them and you know of what they are, they're kind of very similar to something called a Hamadashen. You know, it's like a Jewish festival cookie. It's like, you know, certain times of year where they come out, and, you know, it's just one of those things. I'm like playing with this stupid seal they got on here. Fixed it. So anyway, it's like a Hamadashen, which is pretty much like a cookie. If I can hang on to the bag, it's pretty much like a cookie that has like filling. So it is less sweet than your standard cookie, and it is a sandwich cookie of which there is a solid back, and then there's the front, which has holes in it, and it's filled with a fruit filling. This one, of course, being the raspberry variety. And I really don't like some of the ingredients they put in the Pepperidge Farm stuff, but it still is safe to eat, so I guess I can go on with that one and move out smartly. But truthfully, they are they're rather good. Excuse me one second here. Ow. On camera, I'm going to have to eat like half of that, not the full thing at once, or it's just going to be like, mouthful. Yeah, that's entirely too big a bite all in one fell swoop. Excuse me one second here. All right, so let me see what's going on here. Obviously, we're now online. So, let me do one thing that's not quite so stupid here. Let me get my camera angle correct, so everything's not kind of like flopping around and looking stupid on my my tablet. So let me get that square. Yeah, that's about right. Let me go with that. All right, so we fire things up over here on Facebook side and move out smartly and do the good stuff like I normally try to do. And you know, you guys are along for the pre-show, and you'll be along for the after show. So stand by on that one. You guys over on YouTube, you get the behind-the-scenes stuff you don't see on Facebook. And also, there's not all the dropouts and other stupid stuff happening, so you get a better experience. So let me just get things going on here. So on the Facebook side, we go and hit the live button, and it's now 9 o'clock. Beep. All right, those of you on the Facebook side of things, we're now firing things up, and hopefully things are working and not looking too terribly sketched out. Let me get a slight angle change here, because sometimes it's like I'm looking at the camera side of things, and I'm hoping that I'm framed up, but potentially it's just one of those cases of it's either framed up or it's kind of looking eh. On the other side of things, of course, you guys know I'm now archiving things over on the Samsung S5. Of course, I'm running the show on my Samsung S2. So you guys on Facebook, you're seeing it on the Samsung S2 tablet. Hopefully things aren't dropping out too terrible bad. Logan Ray, appreciate you coming on by, dude. But you guys over on the YouTube side, you get the unvarnished, hopefully better version. I know it's letterboxed. I'm sorry. I actually should be shooting it less potato, but it's more of a... This show is truly more of an audio than it is a video. So you guys over on the YouTube side, yes, I know you're getting the potatoes. I don't know why they call it the potato, but it's the potato, narrow width, not the full glorious width, widescreen experience. So, is what it is. Okay. So anyway, looking at things as it is, right out of the chute, I have got to, just like I put into the video comments on today's video, I have got to give full credence, complete and absolute congratulations, and a hearty well done. You guys definitely kicked ass out of Richmond, and I'm simply going to express it as such. You magnificent bastards. you guys have done a hell of a job. So truthfully, it is a case of... Thank you, John McNaughton. Appreciate you clocking in on that one. Truthfully, what it was is I had numerous, and I do mean completely ridiculously, numerous interactions with people all over Facebook, and they're like, oh no, they're going to be, let me do it correctly here. Oh, they're going to be targeting your smartphones. They're going to be tuning in. They're going to be listening to all your stuff. Ah! And I told them, look, here's how it works. First and foremost, the guys that are going to be listening on your stuff are not going to be the Virginia State Police, okay? If anybody does any kind of technological scanning on any communications in the United States, and it might be anything even partially sketchy, it's not going to be the Virginia State Police for a gathering on the state capitol for a gun rally, okay? And of that agency I'm speaking of, it is the NSA, okay? The NSA is the guys, and I do mean the guys. They are the guys who listen in on all comment. Now, what that means is that it's communications intelligence. And they have numerous technologies. Of course, I'm not going to get into any of that stuff because I'm simply going to paint myself in a corner, talk about things I really know not that much about because they don't talk about that stuff. Howard Warbach, appreciate you coming on by, brother. But the technology is as such, is that what the NSA does is they have keywords, they have trigger phrases, and they have known persons of interest. So if you're on the phone and you're going, yeah, I'm talking about blah, 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 and this guy in this situation and that thing and the other thing, their computer goes, wait a minute, that was a key phrase. Dude was talking about something that you might want to listen in. What happens then, Ron Smith, appreciate you coming on by, dude. Ron Smith, the infamous Ron Smith who makes the amazing flash hiders and all the rest of that good stuff and major reworks on the M14s. Good shiznit, man. Check out his stuff. Smith Enterprises. Love his stuff. So anyway, like I was saying, the NSA, what they do is they have the technology as such, and they covertly listen in. If something pops up and they go, okay, that's interesting. The computer says, hey, man, this guy's talking about something you might want to take a look at. A human being then goes, okay, let's see what this conversation is. And they go, yeah, okay, this is something that we might want to take further look at. And they'll hand it off because they don't do the investigation. In the United States, the NSA, also known as the National Secret, don't talk about them agency, but NSA, they do not talk about them in the United States at all. What they do is they are charged with looking at things outside the of the international body, comprising the rest of the world. They don't look inside the United States. What happens is if something's sketching up, they hand it off to the FBI. They are an intelligence agency. They are not an investigation agency. That is not their charter. So anyway, all these screamy memes are going on about this gun rally in Virginia going, oh, they're going to be listening in. You're so screwed. They're going to be backlogging all your information, man. They're going to get everything. Oh. And I said, dude, here it is. First and foremost, I'm running Android phones. Probably not the most porous of things to begin with because they're not running Windows. They're not running they're running Linux, okay? Really, truthfully, what the Google OS for Android actually is, it's a variation of Linux. So even if you're using Google Chrome, it's partially encrypted to begin with. Second off, if you're being dumb enough to use a smartphone to talk about something that you shouldn't be talking about, you're an idiot. Third off, if you're one of these guys who's talking about the stuff and you're drawing down the lightning rod upon your head, you deserve to get what you get, man, because you're an idiot. So anyway, this guy was going on and on about, oh no, they're going to be listening up all your stuff, they're going to be pulling down all your information, the Virginia State Police is going to know everybody that you're this, and the other thing, it's like, they're walking around in an open area with their faces. Obviously, there's all kinds of recognition software. They're going to know who the guys are in the first place. If you want to really get hardcore, ask them for their driver's license, okay? I'm sure most of these guys walking around armed up like crazy are probably carrying a wallet with their driver's license for state ID, just in case. That guy carrying around the Barrett, you, dude, you get special credit, because that was completely badass. Anybody who wants to tote around a 30-plus pound rifle all day long at a gun rally, that dude got special credit, man. That was cool. So anyway, they're screaming Mimi going on about, like, oh, they're going to backlog all your information. They're going to pull this stuff down. They're going to this and the other thing. It's like, if you're dumb enough to put that information through your smartphone to another person, that's on you, dude. That's completely on you. You are a flippin' moron. That said, there are some very standout individuals who were part of that gun rally in Richmond. The gentleman with the Barrett. Now, I know for a fact, I don't remember him by name, and I'm not going to put his name out there. You guys can find the pictures of him. He is a guy that has a gun range up in upstate New York. Now, for him to come down from, upstate New York to Richmond, Virginia, I'm going to put it in perspective here, okay? Upstate New York is not the most accessible of places, all right? I've been all through New York. As a matter of fact, I've been so far in New York that I was 3 miles short of one of the Great Lakes, okay? I know just how long New York State is to cut the thing in half, all right? Been there a couple times, done numerous, vehicle extensions when I was towing and whatnot, towing up a car, bringing back a car, picking up a car, and what have you. So I've been in upstate New York a bunch of times. It is not the most accessible of places. Most of the time when you get in upstate New York, it becomes 2-lane blacktops. It becomes a lot of cut-throughs through small towns, and the place is not like interstate accessible for most of your northern areas. This guy did the lion's share just getting down to the areas where he could get onto the major highways and get down towards Richmond. Now, to cut through from my area in Baltimore to go to upstate New York was probably somewhere in excess of 4 hours plus. And I'm going to tell you, that is like on a good day. And that's cutting through PA. That's cutting through New York. That's getting to almost to where you're looking at the Great Lakes. I can tell you for a fact, though, the further north you get into New York, the more likely you're going to encounter a Tim Hortons, and you can get yourself some Timmies. I love Tim Hortons coffee. Stuff's so good. Got to definitely get a cup with a double-double. Oh, that's a Canadian thing. That's 2 creams, 2 sugars. Double-double. Their donuts are really good, too. So anyway, basically, for dude to come down there, take the risk of going through Cuomo country, then going down into, New Jersey, and then going through Maryland, then going through into Richmond. And, it's not an easy trip. That probably was the better part of about a 6 or maybe 7 hour drive, both ways. That guy kicked major ass. Mark, appreciate you coming on by. It's my little brother. So anyway, the way, shape, and form is essentially the get-together that these guys did for the Richmond Gun Get-Together was absolutely on major good points. Number 1, there was no drama. Number 2, there was no arrests. Number 3, most importantly, number 3, the place was absolutely spotless when they were done. Like, it probably was cleaner when they left than when they got there. And that's one of those other notable things you could find out for the gun community and, the conservative side of things. And, usually the Trump crowds and what have you, they leave, the place is freaking spotless. And it is going to stay spotless when they are there because that's just how they roll. They don't trash the place. If you see any of these, like, Antifa gatherings or, any of these other kind of, like, Democrat gatherings, they leave and the place is absolutely trashed. It looks disgusting after they left. Just give me 1 second here. Gotta have a cup of Joe. Spot on with the double-double. I know my Timmies, dude. I know my Timmies. As a matter of fact, last time I had some Timmies, I was over in Nova Scotia. It's been a few years, but I know that you can get K-cups of Timmy's. I know you can get the bags of Timmy's. Amazon always has Tim Hortons, and Tim Hortons coffee's just good, man. It's like their if you were, it would be like their Dunkin' Donuts. It literally is like their Dunkin' Donuts, and it's insane how many Tim Hortons. And I heard the whole thing about you guys getting bought up by like Burger King or something or Wendy's. Yeah, that was like, major strife for the Canadians. They're like, wait a minute, we're being owned by the Americans. But hopefully they don't change anything. Supposedly they bought it for like $32 billion or something insane like that. Just a ridiculous price. But anyway, to get back to the whole gun thing, the get-together in Virginia was a smashing success. And like I said earlier, I'm going to quote Patton when he was talking about Rommel. You magnificent bastards. You guys have so completely done it perfectly. I mean, the other thing, too, is also there is some standout funny individuals. Like the guy with the bear, he actually posed out with a couple of brothers, and the guys were wearing Black Guns Matter t-shirts. Too cool. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I actually was talking about it on the YouTube side earlier, but I'll show this to you guys on camera. Yes, the Salty Shellback t-shirt. I'm rocking the Salty Shellback t-shirt because Salty's just a good egg, and you know what? I forgot to start this thing up. So Beetlejuice. We're now official. All right. Sorry, we're now official. Excuse me one sec. I got a little bit of a nasal thing going on. Sorry about that. Probably should have done a hoot of the nasal spray, but oh well. So I'm just going to keep on rocking and rolling. So anyway, like I said, there are some standout individuals. They were absolutely hilarious. There was one black gentleman who was walking around who was wearing a flag bandana over his face. He's got this huge flagpole with a Trump flag on the top. He's walking around holding the flag, and he's like, make a hole, I'm using up my white privilege, make a hole. And of course, everybody's looking over, they're seeing the guy over their shoulder, and they're laughing their asses off. They're like, this guy's funny. He's like, look out, I'm Governor Northam, and I'm in blackface today. Look out, make a hole, I'm using up my white privilege. And truthfully, that's the kind of standout, humorous individuals that were poking it in the eye of the gun-grabbing Democrats in Virginia all day long. Alex Jones showed up. They said he was in a tank, okay? That kind of cracked me up. He was not in a tank, okay? He was driving around in a Bearcat armored vehicle, which is basically like a police Hummer, if you will. He was driving that thing around. He was popped up out the hatch, and he was using a loudspeaker, and he was like, this, that, the other thing, blah, 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 And then he popped out, and he did his little spiel, and he did a speech, and he hung out with the crowd. So there was notables taking place at this thing. So anyway, like I was saying originally, these guys were screaming Mimi about, oh, no, they're going to be in your smartphone to get all your information and all this other stuff. And, you go into the fenced-in area, you're going to be in, a kill zone and all the rest of this crap. To which I expressed most succinctly thus. It's like, you know what? If you want to really make a show of force, you don't go in the fenced-in area. You show up armed, and you do not go in that fenced-in area. Now, as it stood, the news media is going to say, well, it's just a few hundred people showed. It really wasn't that big a crowd. They all were screaming racist, white supremacist, left-hating, right-winging, blah, blah, blahs. And, the thing about it is, too, is also the sheer numbers. Now, every time that somebody tried to do a stream on YouTube, they cut it off. YouTube did not want to be beholden, did not want to show the show of force, and did not want to show what happens when a bunch of patriots show up and take on the government head on. Here's the numbers that I heard conservatively. In the fenced-in area, of which there was one entrance, and everybody's getting patted down, or they're getting wanded, or they're getting clear to make sure nobody has any firearms. In the fenced-in area was 5,000 people. Now, wrap your head around that. 5,000 people. Supposedly, 5,000 people is the number that Bloomberg shifted, or Soros shifted, or both of them spent enough money to flip the Congress and flip the governorship and flip Virginia over into being a blue state. Took a lot of money, didn't take that many people, but it took enough to flip it from red, purplish red, to blue. So now you have all these gun-grabbing a-holes in the Congress and the Senate and in the governorship of Virginia, And they now truly have the nuts to be able to do some damage. Well, it took 5,000 electors, like people reading, like, going out and voting. It took only 5,000 people to flip Virginia into the blue side of things. There was 5,000 people in that fenced-in area. Now, that sounds pretty impressive to start with. Those guys were disarmed. The people that were not in the fenced-in area, and you can see the pictures running all the way down the streets, all the way around the Capitol grounds, all the way around the whole rest of that place, was 15,000 people. A good chunk of them armed, not all of them, but a good chunk of them armed. Mostly you saw people wearing, and this cracked me up. I read like a Sun.uk article where they were going on about, Sun paper. These people are wearing bulletproof vests and carrying these assault weapons, and this and they actually freaked out completely about dude carrying the Barrett. Why, this is the weapon that the IRA used. It can shoot down aircraft. It's horrible. It's terrible. It should be banned. It shoots a 0.50 caliber projectile. It's 12.7 millimeters. It's scary. Or it might be 14 millimeters. I forget what 50 is, but anyway. So the way, shape, and form now is basically they were completely kirking out, and truthfully, they had absolutely nothing of which to go on about in any way, shape, and form because there was no drama. There was no issues. As a matter of fact, I would say even if you were a cop there, it was probably the very bloody damn safest place in Virginia to be at that point in time. Now, I did make mention about the fact that, why was there no drama? I was like, probably because the cops knew if they got snarky, it wouldn't work out for them and they'd lose. I guarantee you, as many cops were ringing around that fenced-in area, and there was a cop every 4 or 5 feet around that fenced-in thing, I guarantee you they were probably 1,000 to 1, if not more, in terms of sheer number of people that were there. I'm sure there was a few hundred cops. No, maybe not 1,000, but at least 300 to 500 people for every cop that was there. Now, if you want to think about just the sheer physics of things, that would not have worked out good for anybody. But let's just say it would have been a really, really, really short fight. And let's just say that the guys wearing the fluorescent vests would not have done very good. Just give me 1 second. But it didn't even come to that. It simply was a case of it was a gathering. It was a peaceful gathering. If they were armed, I'm sure that there was a loaded magazine and they were locked and loaded, because if anybody carries a weapon that doesn't have a round up, they're a fool, because that is not a gun. That is a club that merely makes loud noises when you do 5 more things to it. But some of the guys that really stood out there truly did an amazing thing, just simply saying, we won't comply. We won't follow your stupid laws. And even hardcore as it is in New York, there has been so little people that have complied with this assault weapon turn-in thing that it really, truly has become a joke for them to say it was this effective piece of legislation. We crammed it home and everybody basically got to borrow, beg, and steal to hand it in fast enough. It just simply didn't happen. From what I understand, in the state of New York, it's either been under 100 or it's been like 75 or 80 quote-unquote assault weapons, read like AR-15 configuration weapons turned in. If you hand over your gun to these guys, you are a fool. Now, the other thing that really kind of saddens me is because, Maryland's gone so stupid and, other things along those lines. If I was to try to recreate what I currently have, and I'm not saying any numbers, I'm not saying of anything of which I do have, I will say, though, if I ever tried to recreate that which I currently... Oh, hi, Brave. One of my tortoise shells is coming over and saying hello. Hi. I got to reach down and scratch her, or I won't hear the end of it. Anyway, so if I try to recreate currently what I have now, back from what I started back, mid-80s. If I try to start that now, there is no way in the world I could match this catalog of stuff of which I have. Hi, excuse me. I got to get back to what I'm doing here. Sorry, kitty. So anyway, and truthfully, a lot of that stuff simply can't be recreated because time capsule items, they just don't exist any longer. Or truthfully, the price for entry has gotten oranges now here. Though the price for entry has now gotten as such as that it would be financially just painful to try to replicate. Some of the stuff that I currently do have, I mean, truthfully, it's been literally like, that old Johnny Cash song, I got a 46, 47, 48, 49 Cadillac car. You pick up one piece at a time. And I know there's some people who are financially able and they live in better legislative areas, but trying to do that stuff currently in my state of residence, it would be damn nigh impossible. Case in point, like, they've gone just stupid. I mean, some of the stuff that they've done has been, like, just exponentially just stupid, plugged onto stupid, plugged into stupid, foisted onto stupid, and then once stupid got done of being completely stupid, they said, hey, let's be even more stupid. And legislatively, it's gone strictly downhill, and it's the same problem with a lot of areas. Like I was talking about that guy with the Barrett lives up in state New York. The major component of New York that gives it any kind of, like, really political gravitas, as it were, is not the rest of the state. And you can see New York State is not a small state. It truly isn't. The problem is you have the areas of the boroughs, you have Long Island, you have all these other areas which pretty much foist the control away from the rest of the state. You might have 5 counties in all of New York, and maybe there's 90 counties or whatever it is, but there might be 5 counties that have the population numbers to skew the rest of the state over to being a Democrat-run, Democrat completely fudge-packed. Just, that's how it is. It's not going to switch up. That's just how the state is. It's a state of being. There will never be anything completely different from what it is in its current standing until things change. Now, humorously enough, there's been a lot of people recently complaining about, well, Baltimore is Baltimore. It's so deadly to live in Baltimore. Wow, everybody they go there and they really are threats and, everything's so horrible and, it's so scary to live in Baltimore and all the rest of this happy fall and all the rest of this, happy horse stuff. The biggest problem is that, truthfully, Baltimore is run like a third world nation. I mean, that's just it. It's run literally by the most corrupt, insular group of political hacks that you have ever seen, who cannot be removed from power, or they won't be removed from power because they are now emboldened by a population that goes, nope, we can't ever elect anybody that's a Republican because we trust the Democrats. No matter the fact that these guys have been buggering them for the last 70 years straight. And you've seen nothing but population being just completely screwed. You've seen financial aspects of the city just saying it's just not worth it. We're out of here. You're seeing so much of the population just becoming just dirtbags. I mean, they really don't care anymore. They really, truly just see themselves as, what the F? I'm going to go down anyway. Who cares? I'm going to die by age 30. I may as well live it up. And that's the problem that they currently have in the city, is a lot of these guys truly just don't care. If they spend a year in jail and it's a major crime, that's the most amount of time that they're going to spend. A lot of these guys basically hit the revolving doors, and they have 3, 4, 5 felonies waiting for them by the time they finally hit court, and they don't get any jail time. So that's another component there it is. There is no good enforcement on the bad guys. And they go, well, we got to stop the guns. The guns are the problem. How about the guy that's carrying the gun? Well, if we stop the guns, that guy will stop having, all these other things. Never mind the fact that you're describing yourself as not an island in the middle of in the middle of like the ocean here. You're describing yourself as the island that nobody else ever imports firearms, and nobody else can ever do these things because it's not ever heard of for somebody to steal a firearm. Now, that's one of the other things, too, is also in this state they now have said, well, we're going to come up with this new legislation where gun stores need to have additional security. What color is the sky on your planet, dude? When you simply say that the guys doing the crimes can't be stopped, but you make the guy that has the piece of legislation bearing upon him is the guy that actually creates jobs, inputs tax revenue into your state, and also creates a situation where people want to use his facilities for a place of business. No, you're going to be kowtowing to the dirtbags that simply just don't want to live in normal society and break into places, steal other people's property, and then do crimes with the property that they've stolen. Right? Yeah, that's exactly the way it works. We got to stop the guns. Well, let me ask you a stupid question. If you had a bunch of people that were stealing cars or motorcycles instead, And you said to the car dealership, look, here's the deal. You're going to have to put up 20-foot high fences. You're going to have guard dogs all over the place. You're going to have armed guards. And you're going to make sure that none of your cars ever leave your property unless it's been properly sold, licensed, and what have you. The car dealerships would say, no way, man, we're out of here. It would not be a place of business that would be worth their time, simply because just wouldn't be worth it for them to deal with all the additional BS. I think that's part of the reason why these guys in the Congress in the state of Maryland are doing this, is they're trying to put such a load of hard, contagious, ridiculous expenditure upon these guys that they're going to probably have to outlay $100,000 if they don't already have those security protocols already in place. And most of those guys already do. Oh yeah, you got to have these big blocks of concrete to keep people from busting into doors. Dude, we got that. They just basically got something bigger. Oh, you got to have this in place so they don't steal this stuff. Dude, if they basically make a better safe, somebody makes a better welding torch, okay? That's just how it works. And you can talk to anybody that has the gun stores in the industry. And I know some people in the industry that are locals. As a matter of fact, one of the guys they quoted in the news article I read, I actually personally know. And the guy that has a gun store, literally 10 minutes from my house, if that. It's more like 5 minutes from my house. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of not good for me having a gun store that close. But anyway, so he said exactly this. If I need to take on all these additional expenditures and I need to do all these things, I need to fire 4 people. That means I'm going to be sitting in the store way more time, and I'm an old retired guy, and this is going to make life harder for me, and it's probably not going to stop the bad guys because they're still going to do the crimes. Maryland legislature does not rely upon something known as common sense. They simply go, well, no, but this feels good. It makes us more emboldened if we do these things, and it'll stop the bad guys because they'll see that we mean business. No, it doesn't. No, if bad guys feared breaking laws, they wouldn't be criminals in the first place. And the problem is also when you catch these guys and you kick them loose and you say, well, you better show up for this one, or we'll basically wave our fingers at you. You better show up in court, and we mean it this time. And the guys go, oh, yeah, well, we won't do another crime while we're out on bail. No, they will go out and do another crime when on bail. You can double damn guarantee you they're going to do that. They're going to go out, they're going to do something. They're going to do something untoward. They're not going to stop being how they are because they're bad guys. That's what makes them bad guys, okay? Oh, man. There's been so much fun stuff coming out that I've heard and seen so far on this first day of the Inquisition, as it were. There's been stated intentions. I'm simply going to state what it is. It is flowery language and half-truths on the part of the Democrats to say, yep, we got Trump, we got him dead to rights. Here's the initial problem. They said that they were going to, ask for these proper things to be done, and they were going to do all properly and correctly, and the biggest 2 things that are coming back to bite the Democrats right now is, number 1, they had some of these things that they did in secret. Well, we don't want the witnesses to talk to the other witnesses. Otherwise, they might all have a corroborating story, and they might have all these other things that we need to know, and they won't tell us because they'll have a different investigation, okay? The other problem is the very first outset of anything. When you do an impeachment, you need to have a House vote to ask for certain things, to get certain pieces of information, and to actually request that a judicial member of any stripe, call it what you will, then applies the legal to say, hey man, you better cough up that information or else. They didn't even follow the proper procedure to request for the information from a legal eagle type of guy to give it to them and to do it correctly. So, from its very outset, and I don't mean what any of the charges are for or against, I mean from its very, very outset, the minutia of it is that the Democrats completely screwed up so horribly that anything following their intentions to say that Donald Trump did XYZ can't even hold water. Main reason being is simply because of the fact that they didn't even have the vote in the Congress to utilize the proper legal channels to begin with. So, I think what's going to happen here is hopefully the Republicans are going to give the Democrats their lead. They're going to let them walk themselves square into a corner of the wall and break their nose again. And they're going to simply say, these things that you guys are trying to play, these are shenanigans. We see it for what it is. The American people have paid way too much money for this stuff, and you guys have brought nothing worthy to us in any way, shape, and form. No matter the fact that Donald Trump wasn't guilty of any of these charges, we simply find that your methods for finding facts from its very initial outset was specious, it was arbitrary, and it was capricious in the means of which you tried to retrieve that information at its start. You guys simply didn't do it correctly. So, long view, what I think is going to happen is the Democrats are now hugely on the defensive. They now literally have to say, we basically spent 3 years to bring all this stuff in, and, from its outset, we didn't even do it right. Just give me 1 second here. Now, if you guys were watching this on TV where Schumer put up the piece of, wannabe legislation to say, I'm requesting that we this, that, and the other thing, and they took a vote on it, and they said, no, table that because it's not even worthy. What he was saying was, okay, they completely screwed up hugely in the Congress. We don't have half the crap that we need. Can we do some more fact-finding? And what those guys in the Senate said was, okay, let's go by party lines here. You guys have 47 votes. We have 53 votes. Let's just see what happens when we just look at it for what it is. And on its face, what they said essentially was, you guys are now trying to bring in all this information after the fact because the guys in the Congress completely blew it out of the water by not even doing good investigation, correct? And the Democrats were like, well, we still need that information. We got to have you bring it in. And we need witnesses. We need this, that, and the other thing. And blah, 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 blah. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. And they said, okay, we'll have a vote. And they had a vote, and of course, it went down in flames. It was tabled, which means not happening. Don't try it. Schumer, go away. So Schmucky Schumer lost out first time around. So then they bring in the two screaming Mimi senators, I guess, or they actually call the guys, but technically what they are is they're basically the prosecutors. So they bring in two of these guys from California, and they use the most foofy, flowery, half-truth, half-measure, well, you know that the Senate is intended to blah, 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 and the American people and our democracy standing up for the Constitution. Guys, in the Congress and in the Senate, in the Democrat Party, we know you for what you are, okay? For you to say that anything is done constitutionally is how far you can get away with it before you're wiping your asses with that holy document of which we see to such high rapport that we reference it to say that that is our God-given rights. You guys wave the Constitution around only when it sounds convenient for you to say, yep, we're all for the Constitution and we're all for democracy and this and the other thing. Well, there's two major issues with that previous statement. Number one, you are not for the Constitution. Anybody that says that killing another person is okay under the Constitution, read abortion, and I'm not an abortionist, read under abortion is a constitutional right, you're wiping your ass with that document. Number two, for you to say that you're for democracy really holds no water in the United States in any way, shape, and form. Number one, we're not a constitutional democracy, okay? Number two, we are a representational republic. We elect guys that then basically represent us in Congress, Senate, the judiciary, any other house they're in, any other public house, any state house, in any way, shape, and form, those guys are elected to represent us. If you want a democracy, that means every single person in the United States gets a say on every single piece of legislation that you guys propose and try to vote on. You're like, yeah, let's just try to keep track of that one. Try to unscramble those eggs every time that there's a vote for something. Everybody picks up their smartphone and they're like, oh, I vote for this. Boop. Oh, I vote for that. Boop. Oh, wait a minute. I want to have more conjecture and all time and all this other crap talking about it for the next 5 years. Boop. That is a democracy. Democracy is mob rule. So, the other thing too is also like the kind of stuff that has happened when these guys actually get in office. So, immediately, besides the gun stuff in Virginia, immediately they've said, well, the governor should have an 8 8-year term. Not a 4-year term. It should have an 8-year term. Oh, also, we need to do these other legal eagle type things that completely switch things around and completely turn it on its head. That is the problem when you elect Democrats, and they know they don't ever doubt me on this one, folks. Don't doubt me. Trust me on this one. This is money in the bank. They know when 2020 election rolls around, they are going to get completely fudge-packed. They know they are done. They are going to lose so much in terms of power. They're making a ton of money right now. Trust me on this one. They are gathering a lot of election funds and all the rest of that stuff. You cannot buy an election. Yes, you can try to say that you can buy an election, but we saw what happened in 2016 when Donald Trump ran against Hillary Clinton. She spent so much money. The Democrat Party spent so much money. They raised so much money. They pissed away so much money that they actually bankrupted themselves in the process. They almost ran themselves so far into the red, it is insane. They did not get her elected. Money does not buy an election. It will get the voice out there. It will put out a ton of commercials, but it will not get a bad person elected. Bernie Sanders, pay attention. So essentially is where we are currently with those guys. Now, Virginia, by and large, it's a mess right now. It's a huge, true, complete, and absolute mess. So much so that there's been, like, other things coming out. And I don't know if you guys have been keeping track of the news, but over the summertime, I actually was in Puerto Rico. Went to San Juan, which is the capital. Took a cruise ship that went there. And then, of course, took a local guys for a tour. And basically drove around the place for about 2 hours. And I got to see pretty much every bit of Puerto Rico. Cool place. Definitely check it out sometime. And the secret has now come out. The FEMA representative that is in Puerto Rico was just fired. I think actually they should put that person under the jail cell. Why? Because they found warehouses full of aid, food, water, call it what you will, that was left over from their last hurricane major event where Trump and FEMA and the other government agencies sent stuff over for these guys to utilize. The Puerto Ricans, even though, and here's the dirty little secret, folks, you guys got to know this stuff, they are not a state. They are a territory. They don't elect the president at all. They elect a local governor who's a representative of the United States government who then runs Puerto Rico. And, of course, some of our laws cross over, and some of their laws cross over. And there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes, kind of mishmash in between. They do not elect a United States president. That said, this FEMA representative and all the cadre of other morons decided they're going to try to make Trump look bad, and they stashed all the supplies to keep them from being utilized by the people who desperately needed them at time and event of total just chaos. They rather Trump to look bad rather than help their own freaking people. That disgusts me. That disgusts me highly. But they found this warehouse, they opened it up, and they found scads of supplies, and they were like, and I speak a little bit of Spanish, and I was catching, what they were saying. It's like, this is crazy. Why is this stuff here? Why wasn't this being used to help us at the time when we need us? Why weren't these people helping us when we needed assistance? Why is all this stuff still here? Well, there's a reason why it's all still there. It's because they simply just didn't have a use for it after the emergency ended. Why would they be pulling out skids and skids and skids and skids of water, while they're pulling out skids and skids and skids of gas cans and all kinds of food and, baby supplies and health supplies and feminine hygiene products and food and all the rest of this folderol. Why would they need to pull it out now? Because the emergency has currently ended. I mean, that's the other thing, too, is, understanding some Spanish. We were driving along, and I'm looking over, and I'm seeing the graffiti, and I started laughing my ass off. And the driver looks over and goes, "Oh, you know what that means?" I was like, "Yeah, they really don't like the new guy, do they?" And he goes, "No, they really don't like the new governor." So, the corruption in Puerto Rico is unbelievably high. And even though that they could not directly vote for Donald Trump, they were so beholden to make him look bad, they screwed over their own freaking people. How sick is that? just disgusts me. It truly just disgusts me. I don't know if you guys are fans or not, but Eminem, also known as AKA by the Insane Clown Posse, Slim Anus. Eminem dropped a surprise. I love this whole we gotta stay hip, so we have to use their phrases. Drops a surprise album with an anti-gun song. Slim Anus, you ain't taking my bang bangs. Go away. It's just scary, stupid stuff. And I don't even mean scary. I mean, it's so stupid, it's scary. That's the kind of scariness I mean. Let's scroll. I don't know why I'm going to mention this, but supposedly Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will no longer use their royal titles, and the Queen and the Buckingham Palace have announced that pretty much there is a split now, so they're now no longer HRH or Her or His Royal Highness. I even asked a Brit once. I was like, dude, what is the point of the royals at this time? He's like, mate, I don't even really know, but we have them. They're like effing museums. So that's literally where the Brits are at with their royals. It's like it costs them too much to look at these guys, and it really doesn't do a whole hell of a lot for stuff. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but the Gwyneth Paltrow candle, yeah, it's $72 to smell her hoo-ha. I don't know if I would spend 5 cents to smell her hoo-ha, let alone $72. But supposedly there's a scented candle that smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's hoo-ha. I've been posting up the meme where it's like where you can't afford Gwyneth Paltrow's new candle, and it's a can of tuna fish with a candle stuck in it. That one tickled me. That's been my favorite meme on that one so far. There's been a story that's been going on, and these guys, I've been carrying their water forever, and I will continue to say nothing but awesome things in their respect. The Sikh community, and I dearly love those guys. They're just awesome people. Everyone I've ever met's been like exceedingly cool and just very, very nice people. But the Sikh community in California, and they basically have gotten together, and they now have gotten people from 20 Sikh temples throughout Northern California, and they found a group called the Sikhs for Humanity. And what these guys literally say is 24/7, we don't care what religion you are. If you're hungry, come in. We got food for you. Now, one of my friends on Facebook said, I bet the food is going to be phenomenal. Yes. Yeah, definitely in that regard. So anyway, that's, some guys do stick out and do the good thing. Speaking of sticking out and doing the good thing, Pelosi supposedly handed out the souvenir pens. They were like $15K or something to make them. But I do have an interesting take on this one. Supposedly there was 30 pens of which they signed the articles of impeachment. If you go back to your biblical history and you remember things, Judas Iscariot, the guy that basically said, here's Jesus, he got 30 pieces of silver. So, 30 pens, 30 pieces of silver. The only thing I can think of in that when I said it in the post was, nice slim profile. I bet it won't hurt so bad when they get jammed up their butts. Let's see. Of course, I mentioned Timmy's. Let's see. Oh, this one's bad. Supposedly, vegans, and I don't know what in the world is making them think this is proper and, good, but supposedly vegans have said, we don't want to hurt animals, but if we do something to ourselves, that's fine. We can do this stuff to ourselves. It's not an issue at all. So what they've been doing is they've been, there's no other way to say it but to say it. They've been basically bleeding in the bags and then making blood sausage from human blood, and they're promoting it as vegan because you're not harming an animal to make vegan blood sausage. Of that, I gotta say two things. Number one, as a Jew, I cannot do blood anything. It is completely not even kosher. But I mean, I don't keep kosher, okay? Trust me on that one. I'm like the worst Jew ever in terms of keeping kosher. I do not do blood. That is my one thing in terms of like being Jewish towards like, the kosher precepts. I do not do blood. And it is just not one of those things that you do in the Jewish faith. You do not do blood. Hi, Tiggy. I got a tiggy. So anyway, what they have here is they have an article from this one chick, and she basically like pumped out about a half a liter and proceeded to make blood sausage. And supposedly what it comes to is it comes from, based from this one guy. It's a Spanish guy from the Ayosa remote village in the Teruel province in Spain. And the guy's name is Raul Esquin. And what he did was he started making blood sausage because it's considered not harmful to the critters. It's considered vegan. But he did have an interesting take on things. And this one kind of cracked me up. He's like, you must only use your own blood, because if you make blood sausage and you eat somebody else's blood sausage, oh no, that's cannibalism. To which I pretty much was starting to snicker going, dude, you're still eating blood. Excuse me, I still get that nasal thing going on. So anyway, so they say eating blood sausage right now, if you're eating your own blood, is perfectly fine. To which I say simply this. You might get X amount of calories from eating your own blood sausage. Your body did not expend only that same amount of calories to make that amount of blood that you're currently sucking down and eating as your own. Let's just do a comparative study here. Let's just say it took you 12,000 calories to make a half a liter of blood cells. Okay, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm not like, like some phytochemical, high, muckety muck with PhDs all over the place with microbiology and whatnot. Let's just say it took you 12,000 calories, and that's conservative. Because the human body is not the most efficient thing on the planet for, taking in calories and expending, making itself, okay? It takes a lot of calories to build body. So let's just say it took 12,000 calories to make half a liter of blood. In that half a liter of sausage blood that you currently, made for yourself, you're now scarfing down. Let's just say you get maybe 700 calories, maybe. So you're now in deficit for 11,300 calories that you just basically just pumped into a bag and scarfed down. How much do you think you can do that before you're either, one, sanguinated, or number two, in deficit from like doing it to yourself, where you're like a vegan in the first place and you're eating a lot of, stuff to stay in place, because vegetables are not that calorie dense unless you're eating like tons of like, really like the fatty stuff, which is fine. I mean, because I truly love avocado, truly love, coconut, whatnot. So I'm good with all that. But I mean, the other thing too is also a meat diet is not hard to get a lot of calories out of, truthfully. Basically, walk up to the animal, whack the animal, hunk off, a good honking piece of the animal. You got some meat, you got some fat, suck it down. You got a ton of calories, man. You don't go out in the field and go, oh yeah, this is scarf all this stuff down and I'll stay in good rapport and whatnot. I remember reading this one article where a bunch of people were like, well, hell, chimpanzees can do this. Let's just do the same thing. Let's just live off of vegetables. And they discovered two small problems with not being in a small, big, muscled, really slightly down the evolutionary chain primate. One, they don't have the jaw muscles. They got really, really tired just trying to eat all those vegetables in the first place. Number two, in the process of trying to eat all those vegetables, they were eating almost constantly to try to stay ahead of starvation. And after, I think it was like 3 or 4 days, they were tapping out. They were done. I'm done. No more. Give me real food. And they found out through the study that evolutionarily we are screwed. We cannot do the same things as a standard chimpanzee because we simply cannot just bring enough food into our bodies to maintain ourselves just the way that they do. And it comes down to the very simple point of we have the hardcore different teeth and all the rest of that good stuff from evolution because we are built to be omnivores. We're not built to be just vegans. We're not built to be just meat eaters. We're built to be something that does all of it. And quite tasty, might I add. So anyway, but reading up on that article, those guys truly, in like not even a week, were falling in a deficit. So I can't even imagine what this stupid blood sausage thing would be doing to you in the course of trying to, pump out a half a liter, pump out a half a liter. Because I remember reading somewhere, and let me just do a very quick, very easy Google search here, and we'll keep ourselves honest. how often can I donate blood? And I think they pull out a full liter. So that's only a half liter. You must wait a minimum of 8 weeks, 56 days between donations of whole blood and 16 weeks, 112 days between power red donations. I don't know what that is. Platelet apheresis donors may give 7 days up to 24 times per year. Regulations for those are different for those giving blood for themselves, which are known as autologous donors. So basically, if you're banking your blood before a major surgery, you can really pump out a bunch more because they figure you got to get it done quick. So how many times can you donate blood? How often can a person donate blood? Minimum interval between 2 donations is 12 weeks, 3 months. This interval allows our body to restore its iron stock. Platelet apheresis donors may donate more frequently than that, as often as 1 to 2 weeks, or it's 2 weeks or up to 24 times a year. And basically, you don't just keep pumping out blood going, yeah, man, let's make some sausage, dude. It doesn't happen like that. So, yeah, it's I'm going to use the air quotes here. It's cute. It's cute. You're making blood sausage, but it's not a fix for going out to the store and going, let me get a pound of, breakfast, Jimmy Dean. It's not going to be a replacement, okay? And the other thing that was kind of disgusting in the article I read was on a website called Pulpit and Pen, is the chick made the sausage, and just so you know what it was, she, quote-unquote, air quotes again, she saved some blood and dribbled some blood on the plate and put the sausage on the blood. Yeah, it's like ketchup, man. Just put that stuff everywhere. Oh, yeah. Blood sausage goodness. Ugh. Not into it, man. Not into blood sports, not into eating blood, not doing any of that craziness. But, man, I gotta tell you what. You read up some of this goofball stuff that these guys are coming out with, and, oh, yeah, it's nicer to animals. Dude, you can only do it maybe 3-4 times a year? Yeah. No. Just stupid stuff. Scrolly. There's been so much interesting stuff coming out. Like Avenatti, the guy that supposedly was helping Stormy Daniels, he's been busted for trying to skip out on his bail or on his probation. They're known, okay? They're known. I cannot begin to tell you just how funny I found this one video. And I don't know if the video is still up or not. It's showing a blank screen now on Facebook. But supposedly after the 7th Democrat debate, Bernie and Elizabeth Warren were standing there toe-to-toe. And he was like, oh, that was a nice debate. And she was like, I'm not touching you. And he was like, what? And then the mics were off, and you see him like, meow, 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 meow. And of course everything went downhill from there. But I really wanted to get some ambient audio. Somebody needs to have a microphone near those people at all times, just so you can catch the of course they think that the mics aren't hot anymore. You got to make sure everybody's listening on that stuff. Why? It's just fun. It's just fun, okay? It's just fun. Hearing them going meow meow back and forth. Oh, dude, yeah, that's just good stuff. Never really was a huge fan of hers to begin with, but supposedly Judge Judy, also known as you're doing something illegal, I'm going to throw you out of my courtroom. Judge Judy, whatever her name is. Supposedly she was hanging out with, of all people, Michael Bloomberg. Why you surround yourself with these kind of people, I have no good reason. I mean, she's obviously a New York liberal Jew. She's going to suck up to him because, well, he's the rich guy, and they probably have bumped boots somewhere along the course of time. And I do not get these apologetic Sephardic Jews. I just do not understand these guys. Why they suck up the Democrats, why they suck up the socialists, why they think they're going to have any other good result other than the fact of what it is for what it is. All you got to do is look at history. And of course, if you know your history, you know that Nazi is a acronym, or basically the buzzword therein, or the nickname for NSDAP, which was National Socialist Deutsche Arbeitspartei, which is not good pronunciation on my part, but National Socialist German Workers' Party. also known as the Nazi Party, National Socialist German Workers' Party. Look it up, NSDAP. It is what it is, okay? Now, how do I happen to know that German phrase off the top of my head when I don't really remember German phrases? It's because I've seen it a bazillion times. As a matter of fact, Facebook doesn't like when I quote the phrase of National Socialist German Workers' Party, or NSDAP. They don't like it at all because it makes their guys look bad as raging socialists. So, for Judge Judy to be hanging out with Bloomberg, who is a socialist of the highest order, and a raging, I really want to say something else here, but raging asshat. He has been basically the American version of Soros for the longest time, inserting his snooter where it doesn't need to be, spending a lot of money to try to switch things up, and truthfully, he's not the best egg in the basket. Truthfully, he's not a good guy, and he's been an annoyance to everybody for what he really truly is for the longest freaking time. He is just not that guy. I do think it is going to be funny, though, that he is spending scads of cash, and he's worth like $31 billion or $100 billion, whatever it is, and I don't care at this point. He's an old guy with too much money. But he's spending way too much money to say, yep, I'm going to be the next president of the United States. No, you are not. You are not going to be the next president of the United States, okay? You are probably going to be that also-ran that spent way too much money and you're going, yeah, I hate Trump still. Yeah, that's nice, okay? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep spending way too much money. And hopefully you get yourself so indebted that maybe it just kind of doesn't really do anything but screw up your complete lifestyle. But, I mean, that's the other thing, too, is also the guy that goes on about, well, you need to live in a cave, you need to crack rocks for fire, and you need to live like the Luddite type of lifestyle because you are bad for the environment. Never mind the fact the guy's got like 4 planes, 7 boats, or, 42 cars, 7 houses. I mean, the guy's got way too much crap for any one person, okay? I mean, it's all obviously investment stuff, but 42 cars? Dude, I got 4 cars, okay? Or 3 cars. I got 3 cars. How many of those did I drive at one time? Oh, I'm driving 1, all right? I'm not having, like, me, in Falderoy driving me out to, like, the nearest posh get-together. Come on, dude, get off it, okay? You're an old rich a-hole who basically can't stop being an old rich a-hole. You're a plutocrat, you're a piece of crap, and you need to stay in New York City where you did enough damage and you don't need to spread it around for other people to get their lives to suck. You, sir, are an a-hole. I do not like him. Now, for Judge Judy to be hanging out with him, I didn't really like her much to begin with, but you know what? Who cares? I mean, who watches her TV show in the first place? It's like mid-afternoon stupidity along with Maury Povich and all the rest of that, clamor for attention, lowest common denominator crap. Who watches that junk? I'm sure it's not even like Housewives anymore. It's just like people who are pretty much on, like, public dole, not doing anything good, and they're just basically bored. I mean, who watches broadcast TV anyway, really? I mean, it's ugh. Let's see. Scrolly. Let me go through here real fast, see if anything interesting. This is interesting. Going back to the impeachment for 1 second here. Now, I don't know if they're going to use this, but this is definitely one of these things that they said could be in place, is they refer to it as the kill switch. McConnell dismissal rule corners Democrats and blocks all their shenanigans as the trial commences. And he said, look, if you guys screw around too much and you make it as such as this thing is just a total just goat screw, I'm going to shut it down, and I can. So that's one of those other things that the Democrats truly need to really be careful about. And this one cracks me up completely. This is coming from freebeacon.com. Now, remember, they wanted this. Just like that whole scene in Jack Reacher. Remember, you wanted this. When Jack Reacher takes the guys outside and proceeds to kick all their asses, you wanted this. This is coming from freebeacon.com/politics/Demrep. There was no joy in impeachment ceremony. Demrep, quote, there was no joy, end quote, at impeachment ceremony. Representative Jeffries emphasizes seriousness of impeachment, recently labeled McConnell Moscow Mitch. I sincerely doubt he's a communist. Representative Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat from New York, of course, said Sunday there was, quote, no joy, end quote, at the ceremony where Speaker House Pelosi signed the House articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump. Quote, there's no joy in that ceremony, Jeffrey said in an appearance on Fox News Sunday, and from the very beginning through the end, Speaker Pelosi has been very clear that we're going to proceed in a very serious and solemn and sober fashion. The only thing that was sober in that was the fact that she said we're going to be sober about it. She was not sober. Trust me on that one. Anchor Chris Wallace has shown Jeffrey's photos of the ceremony, indicating that, quote, all the participants look pretty happy, end quote. Quote, doesn't that blow a hole in your narrative that the Democrats aren't enjoying the impeachment in an effort to remove the president, Wallace asked. Jeffrey said, congressional Democrats do not, quote-unquote, dislike President Trump. Bravo, Sierra. On criminal justice reform, USMCA trade deal, and funding the federal government. Quote, we don't like Donald Trump, but we do love America, Jeffrey said. In America, no one's above the law, not even the President of the United States. Funny, you didn't feel that way when Obama was in office. Pelosi handed out commemorative pens during the ceremony, posed for pictures with the impeachment managers, including Jeffrey's impeachment managers, who the prosecutors are. Pelosi's approach to the ceremony drew criticism for its treatment of the impeachment process. Well, why the hell not? They made it into a freaking circus. Jeffries repeatedly emphasized the seriousness of impeachment. On Wednesday, called Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican Kentucky, Moscow Mitch, and suggested he was engaged in a cover-up to enable Trump. McConnell dismissed the Moscow Mitch label on modern-day Carthyism, said not stopped congressional Democrats, including Jeffries and Pelosi, from using it on him. Name-calling at this point. Pretty much the Democrats know they have nothing. They have nothing. It's not going to go anywhere. And what's going to have happen is pretty much Donald Trump's going to get exonerated. Mark my words. They're going to get nowhere, and they're going to lose a lot of seats. They're going to lose their power in the House. They're going to lose their seats in the Senate. And possibly those states that voted for Donald Trump, the local guys are going to lose big time. The Democrats know that they are screwed. It's a scorched earth policy right now, and they're trying to put as much trouble into place as they possibly can before they lose power. Read like all these gun grabs things that they're now doing all over the country in states where you never, ever saw it before. Mark my words, they're screwed. They know they're screwed. All right, folks, so coming up on the 10 o'clock time period, of course, I'm going to break things up, and I usually go through my list here. So, like I say... Hang on a second here. Being slow. Hate when it does that. Okay, so like I usually say, Around the Cabin, aroundthecabin.com. Around the Cabin Food, Around the Cabin News, Around the Cabin School of Self-Reliance, Around the Cabin Buy, Sell, and Trade. And if you could go to and check them out on YouTube, like I said, there's Around the Cabin also archived over there. I'm also archived over there as 80s Podcast Channel. You can find me on Twitter as 80spcc. I really don't do a lot on Twitter, but sometimes I'll pop up and say something because I'm snarky like that. Appreciate you guys checking out with me and hanging out with me tonight for, the usual Tuesday get-together. I don't know how I've managed to not get another 30-day block ban and, back in Facebook jail again. I don't know. I think I've been just maybe, looking at things, seeing it for what it is, and basically moderating my tone slightly. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. All I know is I'm still on, so I guess it must be working. You guys are seeing me here, so I guess I must be being kind of a good boy for a change. I don't know. All right, but I appreciate your kind attention. You guys hanging out with me, and I'm going to break up with this one. And like I usually say, eat good, keep hungry, as always. You know what, you love it. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to break up with this one. And like I usually say, the archive version will show, it's that way. that way. Oh, I got my my other stuff recording over there too, so it'll be archived over and posted up over on YouTube, and so you guys can see it minus dropouts and all the rest of the crap, and you'll see it in better resolution and good stuff like that there. So, let me break up this one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Eat good, champion, ring as always. You know what, you love it, and remember those magnificent bastards in Richmond. You guys did a hell of a job. Thank you so much. You made us look good. I'll break up with this one. Have a good night and catch you guys later. Good week and good stuff like that. See you guys. Peace. Another one in the can. All right, so I'm going to break up with this one. You guys have a good one. You've seen the before, you've seen the after, and you've seen me eating cookies. So I'm going to continue eating cookies. All right, I'm going to break up with this one, guys. Have a good one. I'll catch you guys next show, and good stuff like that there. Eat good, keep it as always. You know you love it, and catch you guys later. See you guys. Peace.